सबने लोग उठा कर अंकल आए हैं। वरिष्ठ नहीं है, वरिष्ठ और दूसरा नहीं और
My esteemed colleagues on the bench, Shri M.S. Singhvi, the Learned Advocate General, State of Rajasthan, Dr. Sachin Acharya, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Rajasthan, Presidents of the respective bar associations at Jaipur and Jodhpur, senior advocates, learned members of the bar, members of the registry led by the Registrar General, who is not present though, Mrs. Kalpana Vyas, ladies and gentlemen. This afternoon, we have gathered to bid farewell to one of our colleagues, Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas, who will be demitting his office after rendering more than 36 years of spotlessly clean and distinguished judicial service. Last few months, I had many occasions to observe the working style of Justice Vyas from close quarters. His calm demeanor on and off the bench has left a deep impression on me. He is a man of few words and mostly keeps to himself, but this should not be misunderstood as a sign of weakness. When it comes to discharging judicial functions, he brooks no deficiency. Justice Vyas was born on 17th of February 1960. After completing his graduation in science, he obtained a degree of law. In the year 1985, he was selected in Rajasthan Judicial Service and was posted as Additional District Judge Udaipur, Bharatpur, Jaipur, and other places. He held the post of Deputy Secretary, Law and Legal Affairs, Department and Register Vigilance. He was also District Judge Alwar. The thing to be noted here is Justice Vyas performed his duties in every sphere with great skill and balance. Be it judicial functions or administrative duty, on an ex-cader post, he showed equal poise. The very fact that he was assigned various sensitive administrative responsibilities shows the faith that the High Court reposed in him. As a culmination of such long, selfless and successful tenure in the district judiciary, he was appointed a judge of the Rajasthan High Court on 6 March 2020. It is a matter of happy coincidence that 6 March, which happens to be his first day in office, will be my last. During my brief interactions with Justice Vyas and through his judicial pronouncements, I could gather that he is a man of principle, discharges his duties with utmost sincerity and dedication, always maintaining the discipline and decorum of the highest judicial position in the state which he holds. He encourages young lawyers and makes them work harder. He has many noteworthy judgments to his credit in his relatively short tenure as a judge of this High Court. It may not be possible to refer to all of these judgments. I may, however, refer to a few of them which have caught my attention. In case of Narendra Kumar versus State of Rajasthan, speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas discussed at length the legal principles governing a case which rests solely on circumstantial evidence. Applying these legal principles to the evidence on record while reversing the judgment of conviction recorded by the trial court for offense under section 302 of IPC, he observed, the chain of circumstances is completely broken. Distance between may and must has not been traveled by the prosecution. Suspicion, however strong, cannot take place of proof. In view thereof, the learned trial court has gravely erred in convicting the accused on the basis of evidence available on record, which in our considered opinion cannot be legally sustained. In a case of death reference titled as State of Rajasthan versus Ankur Padya, speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas upheld the conviction but reduced the sentence from capital punishment to imprisonment for life. Referring to large number of judgments of the Supreme Court, including in the cases of Rajkumar versus State of MP and Machi Singh, the court was of the opinion that the case did not fall within the ambit of rarest of the rare case, invoking the death penalty and thereby spared the capital punishment to an accused, giving him a fresh lease of life. I have not had the occasion to discuss with Justice Vyas his post-retirement plans. This evening, when we meet in more informal and relaxed surroundings, I will surely bring up the topic. Whatever be his decision, I'm sure his second innings will be as productive and successful as the first one. Whatever he decides to do, there will be greater allocation of time and attention to the family members and family responsibilities, which Mrs. Vyas so efficiently, graciously, and single handedly must have carried out so far. I, on my behalf and on behalf of my colleagues present here and the entire legal fraternity, wish Justice Vyas a very happy, healthy, and contented life. Thank you all.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Shri Akil Qureshi, Honorable Justice Shri Manoj Kumar Vyas, Honorable Judges of Rajasthan High Court at Jodhpur and Jaipur, Dr. Sachin Acharya, Vice Chairman, Rajasthan State Bar Council, Shri Nadhu Singh Rathod, President, Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association, Jodhpur, Shri Sunil Joshi, President, Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association, Jodhpur, Shri Giriraj Prasad Sharma, General Secretary, Rajasthan High Court Bar Association, Jaipur, Shri Kamal Kishore Sharma, President, the Bar Association, Jaipur, learned senior advocates, members of the bar, officers of the registry and judicial officers, Srimati Kalpana Vyas, and family members of Honorable Justice Shri Manoj Kumar Vyas, ladies and gentlemen, the assembly in this afternoon is to bid warm and affectionate farewell to Honorable Justice Shri Manoj Kumar Vyas, who is retiring as Judge of Rajasthan High Court after rendering glorious service of over 3.5 decades as judicial officer and as a Judge of Rajasthan High Court. Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas was born in the family of Shri Kanhaiyalalji Vyas, a former district judge at Bikaner. He had schooling at various places in the state of Rajasthan and passed his higher secondary examination from Board of Secondary Education, Rajasthan. He passed his graduation in science from Jainarand Vyas University in 1979. He thereafter obtained degree of law from University of Rajasthan in 82. Justice Vyas initially joined the services of Punjab National Bank as management trainee, where he continued till November 1985. In 85, Justice Vyas appeared in selection for judicial services and on being selected was appointed as Munsif and Judicial Magistrate on 23rd December 1985. Thereafter, Justice Vyas was promoted as Additional Chief Judicial Magistrate and Chief Judicial Magistrate, and in the year 2011, Justice Vyas was promoted as District Judge. As District Judge, Justice Vyas held many important posts, namely Special Secretary to Law Department, Government of Rajasthan, Principal Secretary, Law and Legal Affairs Department, Government of Rajasthan from 2016 to 18. He remained District Judge in various districts, including District Judge Jodhpur Rural. As District Judge and Session Judge, Justice Vyas handled and decided a number of important criminal and civil matters. A glimpse of the career of Justice Vyas reflects that throughout he has been very sincere, hardworking, and dedicated. His worth was recognized by Collegium of this Honorable Court and he was recommended as Judge of Rajasthan High Court. Justice Vyas was appointed as Judge of Rajasthan High Court in March 20. The working of Justice Vyas has reflected in unequivocal terms that he possessed deep knowledge of law, broad common sense, and always maintained cool temperament. He has conducted court proceedings in very effective manner without giving any cause of complaint to any member of the bar. Wherever Justice Vyas has remained, either as judicial officer, as principal secretary law, and as a judge of Rajasthan High Court, he has given his immense contribution. With a deep understanding of law and rich experience with him, Justice Vyas could handle complicated cases with ease. As a judge of Rajasthan High Court, Justice Vyas had sat in division bench for most of the time and authored number of judgments and was also party to various important judgments in civil, criminal, constitutional matters. While sitting in single bench, Justice Vyas has rendered large number of judgments. Judgments delivered by Justice Vyas are testimony of his knowledge and understanding of law. On this occasion, I refer a few of these important judgments delivered by Justice Vyas. In the case of Mukesh Chand Kundra, while speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas has held that where a public servant is charged for misconduct amounting to misappropriation of fund or dishonesty, no leniency can be shown by the court in the matter of punishment. In the case of Hari Om Sharma, while speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas held where wife files false complaint case against the husband for demand of dowry, even though residing separately from her husband for 8 years, would require drawing of inference of cruelty being committed by the wife towards husband, and a case for grant of decree of divorce shall be made out. In case of Preeti Sharma versus Prem Prakash, while speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas ruled that where wife continuously abuses the parents of the husband, leading to their mental harassment and threatening them that she would commit suicide and implicate them in criminal case unless husband should live separately from his parents, that would amount to commission of act of cruelty by wife, requiring the grant of decree of divorce. In the case of Amit Goyal, while speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas held that a candidate cannot be permitted to challenge the process of selection after having participated in the same. It was also held that question regarding correctness of answer key cannot be gone into in jurisdiction as the same is within the domain of expert body. In the case of Kanhaiya Lal, while speaking for the division bench, Justice Vyas held that Section 8 of the Evidence Act renders conduct of any person of an accused of an offence if such conduct influences or is influenced by any fact in issue is relevant fact, whether it was prior to or subsequent thereto. Confirming the conviction of the convict husband, it was held that the testimony of even hostile witness can be relied upon conjointly with the other evidence led by the prosecution. While speaking for the division bench in the case of Rajesh Kumar Veena, Justice Vyas held that the state of exercise of powers under entry 25 of the concurrent list can regulate by way of circular the qualifications for appointment to the post of assistant professor. In so far as the circular does not run contrary to the regulations made by Medical Council of India, the powers of the state to have regulatory framework are not affected, and only rider is that exercise of such power does not run contrary to the Medical Council regulations. Justice Vyas has been fond of reading English and Hindi literature. He has remained basketball player. Better half of Justice Vyas, Srimati Kalpana Vyas, is working as senior medical officer in the government of Rajasthan. Justice Vyas is having two daughters. Both are settled in USA. The elder one has done her master's in sustainability and working in Colombia. Younger one did her graduation in fine arts with specialty in film and video, and thereafter obtained her post-graduation in film and video, Institute of Art, California. Justice Vyas is retiring from the office of a judge of this court and will not be seen in the courtroom, but he will continue in our hearts. We will cherish his association of Justice Vyas with this institution, with the judgments he has rendered in various branches of law. Justice Vyas had an accomplished and satisfying career. I wish that he always remain healthy and happy in all pursuits of his life. On this occasion, I wish Justice Vyas a warm and affectionate farewell on my behalf, on behalf of the state of Rajasthan, as well as the law officers of the state of Rajasthan. I convey my best wishes to Justice Vyas for a happy, healthy future and a long life ahead.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Akil Qureshi, Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas and Dr. Mrs. Vyas, Honorable the Judges of Rajasthan High Court, Mr. M.S. Singhvi, Advocate General for State of Rajasthan, Mr. Nathu Singh Rathod, President Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association, Jodhpur, Mr. Sunil Joshi, President Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association, Jodhpur, Mr. Giriraj Prasad Sharma, General Secretary, Rajasthan High Court Bar Association, Jaipur, Mr. Kamal Kishore Sharma, President, the Jaipur Bar Association, Jaipur, learned senior advocates, members of the registry, presiding officers of the subordinate courts and members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have assembled here to bid warm and sincere farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas on the eve of his superannuation. I stand up to speak a few words with a mixed feeling of happiness and sorrow at the same time. Well, I'm happy to see praises being showered on Justice Vyas in words by learned AG and Honorable the Chief Justice, but I cannot suppress sense of sorrow in my heart because we would be missing a humanitarian judge who would be leaving the portals of this great institution today. It is said that judge and doctor are next to God as they serve mankind. Family of Justice Vyas is a classic example as to how God has chosen them to serve people. Late Shri Kanhaiya Lal Vyas, father of Honorable Justice Vyas, served as district judge in state of Rajasthan. Better half of Mr. Justice Manoj Vyas, Dr. Kalpana Vyas, is a renowned doctor. His Lordship's first cousin, Mr. Justice Uma Shankar Vyas, is judge of this honorable court. There are other close members of His Lordship's family who are serving this institution, this great institution. Honorable Justice Vyas was born on 17th of February 1960, and after completing his school education, His Lordship's completed graduation in science and then a graduation in law. Destined to serve this institution, Honorable Justice Vyas joined Rajasthan Judicial Service in the year 1985. Thereafter worked in different capacities, including as a learned additional district and session judge at various places, district judge at other Alwar and Jodhpur, and also served at Law Department, State of Rajasthan. Honorable Justice Vyas remained as Registrar Vigilance of this Honorable Court. Honorable Justice Vyas was elevated as a judge of this honorable court on 6th of March 2020. As a judge, he always believed in finding out a way to grant relief, even if it became necessary to bend the law, of course, without breaking it. During the period of his judgeship, Justice Vyas remained like a caretaker for downtrodden and unrepresented litigants. When it came to Justice Vyas, there was no reason for the young advocates to hesitate to appear before him. Encouraged by his warmth, they would muster up courage, pick up the brief, argue before Justice Vyas, knowing very well that Justice Vyas would not hold their inexperience against them. His Lordship's graciousness was the same when it came to the senior and other members of the bar. Patience is hallmark of Justice Vyas, as we all know. Relief was always given in deserving cases, and in non-deserving matters, rejection was always very polite. God has bestowed Honorable Justice Vyas a pleasing personality and compassion for everyone. Even after adorning such a high position inside the court, his Lordships has always been courteous outside the court. We wish Honorable Justice Vyas to continue to serve the cause of public at large even after his retirement, in whatever capacity Justice Vyas works. I, on my behalf and on behalf of the Bar Council of Rajasthan, convey my best wishes to Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas and his family members a happy and prosperous life ahead.
My Lord Honorable the Chief Justice Sri Akhil Qureshi Sahib, Honorable Judges of the Honorable High Court, Sri M.S. Singhvi Advocate General, Dr. Sachin Acharya, Vice Chairman Bar Council of Rajasthan, Sri Sunil Joshi, President Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association Jodhpur, Sri Giriraj Prasad Sharma, General Secretary Rajasthan High Court Bar Association Jaipur, Sri Kamal Kishore Sharma, President the Jaipur Bar Association Jaipur, Officer of the Registry, Presiding Officer of the Courts, learned senior advocates, member of the bar, family member of the Honorable Justice Sri Manoj Kumar Vyas Sahib, and ladies and gentlemen. Today we have assembled here to bid farewell to my Lord Honorable Justice Sri Manoj Kumar Vyas Sahib, who is demitting the office and attaining the age of superannuation. Lordship Justice Sri Manoj Kumar Vyas was born on 17th February 1960, and after completing his graduation in science, he obtaining the degree of Bachelor of Laws, and thereafter his Lordship started his legal practice in civil, criminal and constitutional matters. In the year 1985, his Lordship selected in the Rajasthan Judicial Services and remained posted at several places as the presiding officer of the judicial courts. Honorable Justice Vyas also served as a Deputy Secretary, Law and Legal Affairs Department, Government of Rajasthan, and Additional Director, Litigations Law and Legal Affairs Department of the State Government. The Bar of the Jodhpur is fortunate that we had a very humble, sober, and brilliant district and session judge when his lordship was appointed as a district and session judge, Jodhpur district, after getting promotion in his service career. Honorable Justice Vyas served several other places as well, including Alwar and Jaipur during his service tenure, and everywhere he was always known as a firm, but a very humble judicial officer. On 6th of March 2020, Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas elevated as a judge of this Honorable High Court. His Lordship's tenure as a judge of the High Court, Honorable Court was full of glory, and it will be remembered by the member of the legal fraternity for all the times to come. His Lordship always maintained cordial relation between the member of the bar. The tenacity with which his Lordship stood by justice is hallmark of the great man. It was Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the former president of United States, who spoke about hallmark of the great judge by noting that justice consists not as being neutral between right and wrong, but in finding out the right and upholding it wherever found against the wrong. Parting is always painful, and more particularly when parting company is someone who is very nearer to you. The parting is an inevitable because the retirement is a constitutional obligation for someone who is elevated as a judge of this court. The bar will always cherish the memories of his lordship and lordship association. I, on my behalf and on behalf of Rajasthan High Court Advocate Association Jodhpur, bid his lordship a very warm and longing farewell. I hope that future has great store for his lordship, and my best wishes will always go with lordship wherever his lordship be.
My Lord, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Akil Qureshi ji, My Lord, Honorable Justice Shri Manoj Kumar Vyas, Honorable Judges of this Honorable High Court, Shri Mahendra Singh Singhvi, Advocate General Rajasthan, Shri Sachin Acharya, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Rajasthan, Shri Nathu Singh Rathod, President, Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association, Shri Giriraj Prasad Sharma, President, Rajasthan High Court Bar Association, Jaipur, Shri Kamal Kishore Sharma, Vice President, the Jaipur Bar Association, Jaipur, learned senior advocates and officers of the registry, learned officers of the subordinate courts, and learned members of the bar, Mrs. Dr. Vyas and family members of Honorable Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas, ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled here to bid a warm and affectionate farewell to Honorable Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas upon his retirement from an illustrious career. Details of his life sketch and position held as a judicial officer by his lordship has already been stated, hence I need not repeat the same. It would not be an exaggeration to state that his lordship has inherited a rich legacy of judgeship and contribution to justice delivery system. His lordship's father, late Shri Kanhaiya Lal Vyas ji, was a distinguished judicial officer in his own right and retired as a district judge. His lordship's real sister, Miss Raj Vyas, is a judicial officer of district judge cadre. I would be remiss if I do not state that his lordship's first cousin is Honorable Justice Uma Shankar Vyas, adorning the bench of our Honorable High Court. His lordship's sister-in-law, Mrs. Nandini Vyas, is a judicial officer of district judge cadre. His lordship's niece, Miss Sonal Vyas, is also a judicial officer. Thus, even the third generation of his lordship's family is contributing to justice delivery system. Justice Vyas was known for his magnanimous personality and vast knowledge of law, and same is very well reflected and demonstrated in judgments delivered by his lordship. I have no hesitation in saying that the mannerism and objectivity with which he heard and adjudicated the matters made him a popular judge wherever he remained posted before he was elevated to the bench of Rajasthan High Court on 6th of March 2020. Your Lordship has been recognized for being a pleasant personality on the bench as well as off the bench. He was also known as a judge for giving a patient hearing to everyone and have always been found to be calm, cool, and poised. His persona has resulted in admiration, abounding affection, and respect from members of the bar. Justice Vyas, since the start of his judicial career, had shown constant and resolute commitment to institutional development. A small quote from Abraham Lincoln is worth remembering at this juncture. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Your Lordship has completed an incredibly successful professional stint, and now is the time to fulfill your personal aspirations. Retirement is the start of life's golden phase. Chase your childhood dreams once again. I sincerely pray that God continues to grant you and your family sound health and happiness. I, on my behalf and on behalf of Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association, wish you a very healthy and happy life after retirement, while wishing you all success in future endeavors.
The Honorable Chief Justice Akil Qureshi Sahib, Honorable Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas Sahib and his dear family members, Honorable Judges Rajasthan High Court Jaipur and Jodhpur, Learned Advocate General Shri M.S. Singhvi Sahib, Dr. Sachin Acharya ji, Vice Chairman Bar Council of Rajasthan, Shri Nathu Singh Rathod, President Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association Jodhpur, Shri Sunil Joshi, President Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association Jodhpur, Shri Kamal Kishore Sharma, President the Bar Association Jaipur. Respected and dear members of Rajasthan High Court Bar Association Jaipur and Jodhpur and members of registry. We have assembled today on the farewell occasion of our cheerful and smiling Honorable Justice Shri Manoj Kumar Vyas Sahib, who in very short span of tenure left imprint on our fraternity which unforgettable. In the course of his judicial career so far, has delivered several landmark judgments and decisions in many areas of our substantive and procedural law. Through his patience and his sound knowledge of law and fairness in the conduct of cases, the trust the people repose in our judicial system has been greatly enhanced. It is due to his hardworking diligence, adhering to the professional ethics and liability to work in a team that has gained the trust of the members of the bar who feel him as one of their own. He joined Rajasthan Judicial Services in 1985, remained posted as Additional District and Session Judge Udaipur, Bharatpur, Jaipur, Deputy Secretary Law and Legal Affairs, Department Government of Rajasthan. Additional Director Litigation, Law and Legal Affairs Department, Government of Rajasthan. Judge, Labour Court and Industrial Tribunal, Ajmer. District and Session Judge, Jodhpur District. Registrar Vigilance, Rajasthan High Court, Jaipur Bench, Jaipur. Principal Secretary, Law and Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Department Government of Rajasthan. District and Session Judge Alwar. He was elevated as Judge of Rajasthan High Court on 6th of March 2020. That at this point, voice of the fraternity is that there should have been more contribution of Honorable Sir of his cognizant adjudication to society at large, but we are unfortunate one that Lordship contribution, especially during the present COVID-19 pandemic period, is really valuable and unforgettable, as same reflects from the dedicated regular working without leave even. I am grateful to our President Shri Bhunesh Sharma to allow me to the opportunity of address on this graceful occasion. Kindly accept our best wishes, and we pray our Almighty God to grant him longevity, good health and happiness, and an active and fulfilling next chapter. I, on the behalf of Rajasthan High Court Bar Association Jaipur, wish all the best to Honorable Justice Manoj Kumar Vyas Sahib, and as prayer, may the Almighty God continue to bless him for the rest of his life.
माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधिपति श्री अकील कुरैशी साहिब, माननीय न्यायाधिपति श्री मनोज कुमार जी व्यास एवं उनके समस्त परिवार के सदस्यगण एवं उपस्थित माननीय न्यायाधिपतिगण राजस्थान उच्च न्यायालय जयपुर, माननीय श्रीमान MS सिंघवी साहिब महाधिवक्ता राजस्थान सरकार, श्रीमान सचिन आचार्य वाइस चेयरमैन बार काउंसिल ऑफ राजस्थान, श्री गिरिराज प्रसाद जी शर्मा महासचिव राजस्थान हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन, श्री नाथू सिंह जी राठौड़ अध्यक्ष राजस्थान एडवोकेट्स एसोसिएशन जोधपुर, श्री सुनील जोशी अध्यक्ष राजस्थान हाईकोर्ट लॉयर्स एसोसिएशन जोधपुर, श्रीमान वरिष्ठ अधिवक्तागण राजस्थान हाईकोर्ट जयपुर, रजिस्ट्री के सदस्यगण, बार एसोसिएशन के समस्त सदस्यगण। माननीय न्यायाधिपति श्री मनोज कुमार जी व्यास साहब का जन्म 17 फरवरी 1960 को हुआ। आपके द्वारा BSc LLB की उपाधि प्राप्त करने के उपरांत वर्ष 1985 में माननीय का चयन राजस्थान न्यायिक सेवा में हुआ। आपने अतिरिक्त जिला न्यायाधीश के पद पर रहते हुए उदयपुर, भरतपुर एवं जयपुर में अपनी सेवाएं दी तथा जिला न्यायाधीश के रूप में अजमेर व अलवर एवं राजस्थान उच्च न्यायालय में रजिस्ट्रार विजिलेंस के पद पर रहकर अपनी सेवाएं दी। 6 मार्च 2020 को राजस्थान उच्च न्यायालय में आपको न्यायाधिपति मनोनीत किया गया। उसके पश्चात आपने निरंतर राजस्थान उच्च न्यायालय में सेवाएं प्रदान किए। आपने न्याय निर्णयों ने विधि के कई सिद्धांत स्थापित किए हैं। आपके न्याय निर्णयों को अधीनस्थ न्यायालयों एवं उच्च न्यायालयों में निर्णय करने के संदर्भ में सदैव वरीयता प्रदान की जाती रही है एवं आगे भी की जाती रहेगी। आज आपकी सेवानिवृत्ति के उपरांत विदाई के अवसर पर दी बार एसोसिएशन जयपुर का प्रत्येक सदस्य भावुक है। आपने बार एवं बेंच के मध्य संबंधों में सरलता एवं सौम्यता बनाए रखने हेतु अनेकों बार मध्यस्थ की भूमिका निभाई एवं अधिवक्ता हितों को बेंच के सामने भी दृढ़ता के साथ प्रस्तुत किया। परिणामतः राजस्थान में आपके सेवा काल में बार एवं बेंच के मध्य सदैव मधुर संबंध रहे, जिसके लिए मैं दी बार एसोसिएशन जयपुर की ओर से आपका विशेष आभार प्रकट करता हूं। आपने हमेशा इस ओर प्रयास किया कि न्यायालय पक्षकारों के लिए बने और पक्षकार हित ही सर्वोपरि है। इसी सिद्धांत को मानते हुए आपने हमेशा बार एवं बेंच के संबंधों का इसी कसौटी पर रखते हुए कार्य किया, जो सदैव अविस्मरणीय रहेगा। अंत में आपके सेवानिवृत्ति के अवसर पर मैं अपनी बार एसोसिएशन जयपुर की ओर से परमपिता परमेश्वर से आपके दीर्घायु जीवन एवं भावी जीवन में स्वस्थ जीवन की कामना करता हूं। यह विश्वास है कि न्याय जगत को आपका मिल रहा सहयोग भविष्य में भी निरंतर मिलता रहेगा। ऐसी हमारी कामना ही नहीं, हमें पूर्ण विश्वास है कि आप अपने सेवानिवृत्ति के उपरांत भी हमें मार्गदर्शन एवं अपना सानिध्य प्रदान करते रहेंगे। आपके उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं।
Honorable the Chief Justice Sri Akil Qureshi ji, my esteemed colleagues on the bench, Sri Mahendra Singh ji Singhvi Learned Advocate General, State of Rajasthan, Dr. Sachin Acharya, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Rajasthan, Sri Nathu Singh Ji Rathod, President, Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association, Jodhpur, Sri Sunil Joshi, President, Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association, Jodhpur, Sri Giriraj Prasad Ji Sharma, General Secretary, Rajasthan High Court Bar Association, Jaipur, Sri Kamal Kishore Sharma, President, the Jaipur Bar Association, learned senior advocates, learned members of the bar, officers of the registry and judicial officers, my family members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank Honorable the Chief Justice and learned representatives of the bar for bestowing upon me such kindness and generosity. You all have been very liberal in your assessment. I am extremely touched by the love and affection and accept the same with all humility. This will surely encourage me to strive hard in my future endeavors. As I stand here in such august company in the capacity of a judge of this esteemed and illustrious institution, a stream of thoughts are crossing my mind. I would like to take this moment to share with you all my sincere gratitude for the time I spent here in this court. I have been in the system of administration of justice for the last 36 years and had a great and wonderful experience to work at all levels. I am extremely thankful to the Almighty for giving me opportunity to join this pious and highly respected profession. I began my career in 1985, and through my successive roles as judicial officer and judge, I have seen the constancy as well as the progression of the law. During my tenure at various posts, I have come to realize that litigation between parties is not merely disputes of facts which have to be adjudicated as per the settled law and principles, but each litigation in itself represents aspirations of citizens of this nation for fulfillment of constitutional goals of equality, access to justice, reasonable opportunity to raise their living standards, to ensure a dignified and meaningful life. Thus, the role of a judge becomes all the more important if seen from this point of view that adjudication paves the way for the ultimate establishment of the goals of the constitutional values. Millions of citizens of the country are having deep faith in us. It is only the judiciary that can firmly stand for constitutional morality, values, and goals. Whatever I am today is because of the blessings and innumerable sacrifices of my parents in imparting all of us good education, life skills, and eternal human values. My father, late Sri K.L. Vyas, was a self-made man. Hailing from a very ordinary background, he strove hard to get good education and finally joined judicial service in the year 1967 and served till the year 1999. He retired as district judge. He earned a lot of respect, affection, and love of the people. My mother, Srimati Lakshmi Vyas, was a noble, God-fearing lady who was very simple, honest in her thinking and behavior. All the human values that I inculcated was the result of the teachings of my parents. It is only due to their blessings that I have been able to achieve whatever I could achieve in this life. I am also thankful for the support of my sister Raj Vyas and brother Kishan Vyas. I have grown and tried to excel in judicial service by adhering to the code of ethics, maintaining high traditions, discipline, and decorum. My inspiration for my judicial work comes from motivational lines of Mahatma Gandhi, and I quote, I will give you a talisman. Whenever you are in doubt or when the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man whom you may have seen and ask yourself if the step you contemplate is going to be of any use to him. Will he gain anything by it? Will it restore him to a control over his own life and destiny? In other words, will it lead to Swaraj for the hungry and spiritually starving millions? Then you will find your doubts and yourself melting away. Unquote. These words of Gandhiji have always guided me in my legal journey. I would also like at this moment to express my gratitude to my teachers right from the school education to higher education, under whom I have acquired the knowledge and intricacies of various subjects, including history, sociology, and law. I feel proud and fortunate to get love, affection, and blessings of my extended family, especially my father-in-law Sri V.K. Thanvi and my Taiji Srimati Varji Devi. I am much thankful to the members of the bar and the bench who gave me love, affection, and blessings, for being very cooperative and cordial to me. Every day I learned something new from them, whether senior advocates or young advocates. Their commitment, dedication, and courtesy extended to me will always remain in my memories. The members of the bar have contributed in my growth as a judge, showering their goodness upon me in abundance and their pearls of wisdom. Young members of the bar at Jaipur have great future. I wish and foresee many of them who appeared before me shall become legal stalwarts, judges of eminence in the times to come. I wish that with hard work, patience, and due diligence, they will make us proud and keep the flag of this High Court at top in the judicial fraternity. I am extremely thankful to my colleagues on the bench. I sincerely and with all humility pay my gratitude and respect to each of my colleagues at Principal Seat Jodhpur and bench at Jaipur. I am immensely blessed to have their love and affection towards me. Honorable Chief Justice Sri Akil Qureshi Sahab is a jurist par excellence and a kind human being with a positive attitude. I have received unrestricted affection, support, and encouragement from him during this period. I will be failing in my duty if I do not express my sincere gratitude to former Chief Justice of this court, Honorable Mr. Justice Inderjeet Mahanti, with whom I had opportunity to work. I earnestly express my gratitude to the officers and staff of the district judiciary with whom I had opportunity to work. The district judiciary provides justice at the grassroots level in very challenging and adverse conditions. During my tenure in district judiciary, I have been placed in different locations in various capacities. Wherever I worked, I was fortunate enough to get utmost cooperation and support. It would be impossible to forget their significant contribution towards discharging my responsibilities. It was always a teamwork. I offer my deep sense of gratitude to members of the registry. With their administrative efficiency and work ethics, they have set very high benchmarks for others to emulate. Due to their acumen and commitment, the bench is always able to focus on its basic task of imparting justice in a more effective manner. I would like to thank Sri Nirmal Singh Ji Meritwal, Registrar General, and other officers of the registry and non-judicial staff of the court. I am thankful to Sri Dipankar Bhattacharya, my private secretary, and other personal staff attached to the court. I am also thankful to law researchers, Ms. Avantika Thakur and Srikant Chitlangia, whose competence and legal assistant made meaningful contribution in the course of dispensation of my justice. I am also thankful to Dr. Ajay Purohit, Dr. Ashok Sharma, Dr. Rajesh Gupta, and other medical staff of the High Court Dispensary for always being prompt and efficient in providing their medical services. Likewise, I am greatly indebted to all my personal staff deputed at my residence who performed their duties with perfect sense of humbleness. I extend special thanks to my PSOs, Sri Sunil Kumar and Sri Vinod Kumar, and driver Sri Daya Dharam Singh. I would like to appreciate the services of entire protocol section, both at Jodhpur and Jaipur, especially Sri Mukesh Sharma, Joint Registrar, Jaipur. The protocol team rendered their efficient services as and when required with full promptitude. Last but not the least, I express my feelings of gratitude and thanks to my better half, Dr. Kalpana Vyas, who extended remarkable cooperation and support at all times, even at the cost of sacrificing her priorities. My daughters, Parul and Nehal, are also working hard to make their contribution towards the society at large, though in fields other than law. My elder daughter is working in the field of sustainability, and my younger daughter is pursuing higher studies in Masters in Visual Arts. They have always been the source of utmost joy, happiness to me, and inspiration as well. I am a man of limitations. My mistakes are many, but I hope with the magnanimity and benevolence at your command, you shall overlook my shortcomings and shall always continue to shower warmth, love, and affection upon me for all the times to come. I also extend my thanks and gratitude to all my friends who have stood with me in thick and thin of my life. Behind the stage, the time flies past, and as the clock ticks away, suddenly one day realization dawns that it is time for you to move on. I seek blessings of you all and pray to you to wish for me that whatever I endeavor I may undertake, I may rise to come up to your expectations. I wish you all the best for the times to come. Once again, thanking you all from the core of my heart. Namaskar, Jai Hind.